Science shows that our brains are neuroplastic and that we can change our personality with our thoughts alone. You can do the same and you can stop having ADHD. Many of you tell yourself stories about limitations that you have, why your life sucks, why everything's a struggle, and many other negative thought perceptions around your ADHD. It's common to see people with ADHD blame their failures and their limitations on their ADHD, and they become a victim to their mind. If this is you, hi, I'm Ayana from Ayana Street Therapy. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how to stop allowing yourself to become a victim of your ADHD, which causes poor mental health, and teach you how to change your mindset so that you can basically stop having ADHD. Okay, I know what some of y'all are thinking. This is crazy. I always have ADHD. I can't change this, etc., etc. But that's exactly kind of my point. We speak these things into our reality. We make them become who we are, when in reality, we can completely change it. Now, this is not to say you're going to completely lose all your ADHD symptoms. There are certain ADHD symptoms that are extremely beneficial and can help you become an extremely successful person. But what I'm getting at in this video is how you can reframe your thinking so that you can stop becoming a victim and causing so much problems in your life because of your mindset on your ADHD, learning how to manage those negative symptoms and how to hone the skills of the positive ones so that your ADHD basically becomes a superpower. I have a perfect example that happened very recently of how I use my mind to accomplish a major goal. So for a while, I had the goal to run 5 miles continuously without any breaks or walking breaks. And I hadn't done this before in my entire life. But one morning when I woke up, I said to myself, you know what? Today I'm going to run well, which is very different from the other days, because the other days I would wake up and a lot of times I'll say, oh, I don't know. I don't feel like running. Like, I'm not really wanting to run. I would have this in my mindset a lot. But that day was very different. Instead of having that mindset of I don't feel like running or it's going to be hard or whatever other limitation I made up that day or time, I said to myself, I'm going to run well today. I feel like running today. It feels like a good running day. And guess what? I accomplished my goal. I ran 5 miles nonstop. And it was because with my mindset, I manifested that reality. You're going to do the exact same thing with your ADHD. And I'm going to tell you how and why it'd be very beneficial to you and so much more juiciness into this video. First things first, what you need to do is you need to stop seeing your ADHD as a problem. This is one of the biggest factors as to why people struggle with their ADHD. They see their ADHD as literally the main thing that is keeping them becoming a functioning person in their life. And because they have that mindset, they, in fact, become a dysfunctional person and they don't seek ways to improve. Just like my example with running, if you keep setting your mind up for this idea that your ADHD is an issue in your life and you're only focusing on the negative aspects of your ADHD and not seeking ways to improve it because you're claiming it to be who you are completely, then you're not going to get any better. So instead of focusing so much on all the reasons why your ADHD is horrible and causing you so much struggle, start thinking about how is my ADHD actually beneficial? There are so many things I can think of. Even the forgetfulness can be beneficial because some of us who have traumatic events in our lives, we don't need to keep strengthening those neural pathways in our minds of these horrible events that have happened. And that's not to say that if you were a victim of somebody that you forget about the fact that that person is dangerous or bad for you, but you at least detach some from that traumatic experience so that you can start making new neural pathways of positivity and positive experiences. The same thing applies for many other things like hyperfocus. Hyperfocus is one of the best superpowers that a person with ADHD has. When your mindset is 100% focus on any given task of importance, you can get that done very effectively. However, it can get it out of hand, but there's other ways that you can improve on that. And those are the things I teach in my courses. Another thing that you might be doing that you're not paying attention to that might be causing you so many problems with your ADHD is that you're manifesting it. You're manifesting the results of the problems in your life. When you always claim something to be in regards to your ADHD, Like, oh, I'm always so forgetful, or oh, I'm always late because of my ADHD. Oh, I can never focus because of my ADHD. You're manifesting that. You're strengthening that neural pathway in your mind because, like I said earlier, your brain is neuroplastic. So when you strengthen those pathways, it becomes the reality of your life. And you keep setting yourself up for limitations every single day. You know what's interesting? You can manifest a new personality. As I said earlier, when I claimed that I was going to run that 5 miles, and the fact that our brains are neuroplastic, all you really have to do is start reframing the way you're thinking. So instead of always claiming, oh, my memory is so bad because of my ADHD, you can start doing a baby manifestation to improve by saying, my memory can get better. And don't necessarily have to say because of ADHD or because of that. The only reason why I use the label ADHD so much is that's how we speak in this society. This is how we learn what something is, and it's good for researching. But the real truth is you are a unique individual and you can literally change. All you have to do is change your mindset. And most people aren't able or don't know how to change their mindset because no one has told them that they're literally manifesting their personality every single day. Anytime you claim any aspect of yourself, whether it's about ADHD or not, you are making that who you are. You're strengthening those neural pathways that you created in your mind about who you are, how you act, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about other things, and you're making that solid. But you can always change that. Our brains are amazing. There is so much capacity for brand new neural pathways in our mind, and we can literally weaken or strengthen any neural pathway that we decide. When you start forgetting memories of your childhood, that is because those neural pathways in your mind are weakening. And when you start remembering new things in your life, especially things that bring you joy and happiness, is because you created a new neural pathway in your brain and it's getting fired off every time you remember that memory and you strengthen it. You can literally do the exact same with your ADHD symptoms, as I've been saying. The next thing that you really need to do in order to change all this negativity around your ADHD is you gotta love your ADHD. Recognize all the ways that your ADHD mind is very unique. Your neurodivergence is an amazing advantage in many ways in your life, and you really need to strengthen that belief, and you really need to start using it. You do that when you learn to love it. When you love something, you radically accept it. You accept it the way it is, and you don't have a desire to change it. That was something that I had to learn myself. When I first quit taking my medication, I was getting in the mindset that there was no end to this, and I was going to keep going up in dosage forever because after a while, my body got used to it and I needed more dopamine to get the type of high that I needed. And I also realized a part of myself died. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like a version of myself that my parents wanted, that society wanted, that everyone else wanted but myself. And so when I quit my medication, I said, you know what? I'm going to have a different approach. Instead of believing that my ADHD is a problem, I'm going to learn to genuinely love my ADHD. Once I started radically accepting and loving my ADHD, that's when the magic started to happen. That's when I was finally able to start realizing that I did not have to live a neurotypical lifestyle. I can do things differently. I can make my own rules. I can change my life around my needs as an individual with the mindset that I have. Because let's be honest here, there are certain aspects of ADHD that aren't necessarily bad when you think about it. They're just different from how other people think. And because they're different, people will label them as bad. But it's not a bad thing when you learn how to work with it. When you learn how to implement it into certain aspects of your everyday life, you can live a very happy and fulfilling life with your ADHD. But if you're always blaming your ADHD for all the bad things in your life, you're not going to be very happy and fulfilled because you're too busy trying to fit into a standard that's never going to work for you. An amazing alternative and what you really should be doing is learn how to hone your ADHD skills that are great. There are many positive aspects of ADHD, even the ones that are seen as negative, as I said earlier, can be used in a very positive way. It's really just about a mindset shift and learning how to embrace yourself, learning how to love yourself, learning how to heal that inner child that might probably have been misunderstood, not very appreciated. And unfortunately, this happens to a lot of us with ADHD. Many of you probably have had caregivers that were unloving and negative towards you, which led you to not loving your ADHD, which led you to think that you were a problem, something was wrong with you, that you were stupid, and many other things. But the truth is, nothing was wrong with you. The only thing is that you were different. You were uniquely made. And so you should respect that uniqueness and work with it and not against it. Because working against it will never bring you happiness. You'll always feel unfulfilled and you'll never get that life that you want. Seek improvement, not victimhood. Start aligning yourself with improving yourself. Stop telling yourself you can't do stuff because of your ADHD, or insert whatever excuse here and whatever reason here. Instead, start to see yourself as a powerful individual. We have the power to hyperfocus, and we have the power of developing interests. What you really got to do is to start using that hyperfocus and that desire for interest towards being interested in changing who you are, being interested in improving. And yes, I know our interests come and go sometimes, but that's not always a bad thing, because sometimes we do need breaks from certain things and then we can always come back to it later. Like for me, for instance, meditation, I talk about this all the time, is required when you have ADHD. It's what helps with memory and focus, especially, and many other things. But that is one big thing that we struggle with in general. And so I started meditating, and yes, in the beginning it was hard. Yes, there were times when I took long breaks without meditating and I lost interest, but I always came back to it. And the more I did it and the more I came back to it, the better and better I got, and the more and more I saw improvements. I used to be very forgetful. I used to leave stuff all the time. I used to lose stuff all the time. I forgot dates all the time. I was terrible at focus. I could never pay attention. All the textbook ADHD problems. But instead of claiming that to be who I was, because this was during the time when I didn't even know what ADHD was, y'all. I didn't even know I had ADHD. I said to myself, I know I'm different. I think different. Something is different about me. So let me try to improve it. And you know what happened? I did. I started meditating more, and every single day. And this started when I was in high school. And as I got older, sometimes, yes, I would fall off, but I always come back to it. And the more and more I did it, the more I realized, wow, a lot of this forgetfulness, missing important dates, leaving stuff behind, losing things, all the crap that I was having problems with, the lack of focus, all of it started to diminish to a level that I never even knew was possible. And it's because I changed my mindset. I used that powerful brain that we have, the neuroplasticity of our brain, to fire new neurons in my head that allowed me to change my personality and allowed me to move away from this. Understand that ADHD is a neurodivergent, I hate to say the word disorder, but you know what I'm getting at, right? It's neurodivergence. It's about neurons. It's about our brains. And the brain is neuroplastic. So you can literally change it. You see where I'm getting at here? This is like the perfect way. This is like the perfect disorder, whatever, that you can get past, because it's all about the brain, the thing that can change, right? Have you ever seen a brain? It's squishy anyway. I mean, you can kind of believe that's neuroplastic. It's time that you start telling yourself a different story. It's time to stop claiming ADHD as all your problems and start claiming ADHD as the best thing that's happened to you in your life, because it really can be one of the best things that's happened to you in your life. Some of the most influential, powerful, rich, wealthy, talented people to have ever existed have ADHD or some other form of neurodivergence. And they use this to their advantage. They use this to improve. They used it as their way of becoming an amazing artist, as becoming an amazing scientist, as becoming an amazing business person. And they probably did not see their ADHD as a limiter. They probably did not see their limitations. They saw the power that they had with their beautiful, wonderful, creative mind. Your problem is not your ADHD. Your problem is your mindset on your ADHD. Change your mind and change your ADHD. Now that you know that you can literally change your mind to becoming a better version of yourself, it's time to stop claiming and having ADHD. It's time to tell yourself a new story so that you can stop mentally struggling with your ADHD and instead use your ADHD as your greatest tool. Detach from the disorder mindset of ADHD. You are more than that. Much, much more. If you want to learn more of how to hone your skills on ADHD and to heal from a lot of the mental health struggles that come with it, like anxiety and depression, I have many courses that are specifically catered toward healing from anxiety, depression, trauma, ADHD-based trauma, time management, many other things that you could think of, especially when it comes to the neuroplasticity of the mind and changing your mind to becoming a better version of yourself in ADHD. All of that is in the link in the description of this video. It's Ayana Street Therapy, and you can try it for free for 7 days, and you get a free mini coaching call when you sign up. So we can talk one-on-one, and we can get a better idea of what are your mental struggles, what are the things that you're trying to overcome, what are the things that you want to improve in your life, whatever it may be. I got you, boo. So just check out the link in the description. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next ADHD related video. Peace, y'all.